course, staying in Nigeria, the government, it appears, has a lot more than stabilizing the naira to deal with. For 2 days now, Nigeria's finance ministry has been shut down as ministry employees demand payment of allowances. Here's Kelechi Emekalam with the details on that story.
The joint strike involves employees from the Finance and Budget and Planning Ministry as well as the Accountant General's Office. All very key ministries that could bring activities of a government to a standstill. The strike is about some unpaid allowances running into over $40 million. Angry employees have locked the Finance Ministry and crippled work at the ministry's headquarters for 2 days now. The employees have vowed to press on till their demands are met. But a statement from the Finance Ministry spokesman, Salisu Dambata, says the special overtime allowances had not been budgeted for in the 2016 budget. The statement says the allowance was discontinued in 2014. The Nigerian economy has been severely battered by falling crude oil prices. The federal government has had to borrow billions of dollars to finance huge budgetary deficit this year. President Buhari has just been talking tough against wastage. He returned from a sick leave over the weekend and he's yet to say a word about the protest that's threatening the implementation of his first budget. Kelechi Emekalam, CCTV Abuja, Nigeria.
As it enters its second day of a free float of the naira, and Bosun Omofaye, an economic analyst and head of business news at Nigeria's Channels TV, now joins us from Lagos. Bosun, as always, welcome to the show. Now, of course, we saw the naira strengthen about 0.7% this morning, which could be viewed as a positive. However, analysts are still betting that the naira will further depreciate, especially by September. What really are the views on this move to free float the currency in Nigeria? What are the pundits saying?
Well, what the pundits are saying is that this is a takeoff. As has been said, it's not a silver bullet. It's a new regime that the Nigerian government is setting up a formal market for currency transactions since 1986, 30 years ago, when Nigeria started flirting with interbank market. This is the first time that everything is now on the table. So the analysts are saying, look, let's try this. Let's see how it works out at a time when Africa's largest or leading oil producer faces serious economic headwinds. In particular, the lower oil prices, the militants attacking oil installations, reducing the volume of the country's oil output. So the reserves are also going down. So the country will have to do something very quick. So technically speaking, this looks like the last lifeline that the Nigerian government has to rein in the excess demand in the foreign exchange market, float the naira, hoping that things will pace out very nicely. At the end of the day, the government will be able to rebalance its budget and hope that things move forward from here. So right now, all hands are on deck. The banks, who are the primary market dealers here, are also hoping that this would help them take care of the problems they've had with the foreign exchange. It's been 15 months of no activity in the FX market, and that is quite huge.
Now, Bosun, the CBN's currency controls were actually very restrictive. There were complaints of debit cards rejected overseas, businesses closing down due to import bans, and of course airlines closing a shop because of the difficulty repatriating money. Now, will this new policy drastically change these issues?
Well, what the central bank did first yesterday was to bring some confidence in about $4 billion, that about $500 million, $532 million in the spot market. The rest had been segmented into 1 to 3 month forward market to clear them over a 3-month period. That takes you technically to the final quarter of 2016. And also we heard today from FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange that the central bank did another intervention today with 7 commercial banks. We don't have the figure yet about how much the central bank actually sold into the market today. So they all attempt to make sure that you clear the backlog and make sure that the market can start on a clean note. Now, when the backlog has been cleared, the commercial banks can now begin to deal with some of the issues you've raised. The airlines, whether they're doing remittances, third-party transactions overseas, Nigerians are concerned right now. If you go on social media, they're worried about the rate at which banks are charging them for using their Naira MasterCard overseas. That has been on social media, on Twitter today, and people are asking, how do I get my rate? Why would a bank take certain amount of my money and give me whatever rate for the future? Now, banks are asking customers to queue up as well because there is so much demand, pent-up demand that had to be cleared. So the banks are coping with it, and it's a lot of sleepless nights for the central bank itself at this point in time. Uche.
Well, thank you so much, Bosin, of course, for those insights.